wild up in here with Tallie Brinson, Abbie Knights, and Ben Brown on the Tab Podcast Show.
Hey everyone, and we're back for another episode of the Tad Podcast with myself, Abbie Knights, Benny B, and Tallie B.
Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody?
There's a lot of bees going on. Just bees.
It's a lot of
bees
what?
everywhere. Bees. Benny B, Tallie B. And Ben's eating. What are you eating today, Ben?
Abbie.
Peanut butter and crackers.
Natural
Combination
peanut
of
butter.
champions.
Natural. I love peanut butter.
I was
I
going to
love
say,
peanut
for everyone that's listening, I think we've all learned together that Ben is like a peanut butter connoisseur. He don't just do any kind of regular peanut butter.
Mm-mm. Just like you don't wear any kind of condom.
Then there's that. Did you guys hear about the new ones that are called Skin?
No.
They're supposed to be like the new rival to Trojan because they're latex free.
Oh, what are they made out of?
So you get the pleasure with the satisfaction.
They are good.
Without the smell.
They are good.
What are they made out of?
I don't know what they made out of, but they're good.
But they're good. And they're
Polyester.
thinner than Trojans.
The box is black. The color,
And purple.
The condom is like black. With the packaging is nice.
Yeah, that's all new stuff.
If I
to
had
me.
any left, I would show you one, but I don't have any.
Been out of that world for a while.
I like
Wow.
the skin.
You learned
I
just something today.
I've tried the Trojans in like used them back to back, and I
Back to back, Ben? Back to back? Sheesh.
it's better than bareback. Well, it's not better.
Somebody was getting it.
Safer than bareback. Safer than bareback. Yeah.
So much
look,
can be
he
implied
had a
from
little-
all that.
He had a little sampler tray laid out, you know. All right, here we go.
Instead of caviar, I had the condoms.
Gotcha.
But they are
Gotcha.
skin.
Do you just have this like condom buffet in your house? In your room?
Pretty much. You want that right fit. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry
Ben's
about
like
that.
Batman with the condoms. You got the condoms all in your utility belt. Shoot them out your wrist.
Yeah.
That's when you're unsure where you want to go with them. Once you know, then you're saying, I'm gonna stick to this one. This one is smoother.
Mm.
It's safer. It doesn't have that condom smell.
That's the latex right there.
Yeah.
That latex
like
leaves
it.
that weird smell.
We need to move on from this because it's like we're doing an ad for them and we're not. This is like freestyle. We didn't plan on it, but they got a free promo.
They did, yeah. Shout out to Skin if you guys want to run us a check. We're always here for it, ready to receive.
Run us some checks and a whole life year supply.
A lifelong. That's what Nick Cannon needs at this point in his life. I don't know if anyone's ever introduced him to a box of condoms, but apparently Kevin Hart tried to buy him a whole vending machine of them. He still don't use them though.
That's the fact when you make so much money and you feel like nothing can break you and you feel like I can just do it. He said, whatever he decides on which woman he spends the night with based on who calls him first.
But so what
Okay.
my question is like, what is the relationship of his baby mamas? Like, is he is he in like any drama with them? Is everybody happy? What's that side?
We never hear nothing, so I think there's some harmony going on.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there is some harmony because
Be fruitful and multiply,
he's being fruitful, all right.
and he can
Bareback.
provide. He can definitely
Bareback.
provide for them. Now I don't know in terms of his presence with them, what that juggling would be. But hey, I mean, only
He
time will
makes
tell.
it seem like he's pretty present.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what,
'Cause
though?
how many kids he have now? How many?
Like
children?
12 or 13?
Yeah. And see, I'm biased. I like Nick. That's my boy. I like Nick.
Nick is cool people. But he did do an interview where he did say it is kind of hard to spread your time evenly with all the kids because that's a lot of kids and they're not in the same
Yeah.
house.
Right, I was gonna say they're not in the same house. But if anybody could do it, it's him.
It would be him.
It
And
would
he's
be
doing
him.
that.
It's a lot of spreading.
But
In
that
more
part.
than one way.
Speaking of spreading and sharing the love, Jada has been all over the headlines. For those of you out there that are not familiar with what's going on, Mrs. Jada Pinkett Smith, or should I say Miss, because supposedly they're separated, but they're not divorced. They're never going to get a divorce, but they're working things out, but they're not together. I'm just so lost with the whole situation. You know, yeah, it's like relationship status, together, single, definitely complicated. I think that's the box she's definitely checking.
Entanglement now makes sense. The word entanglement makes more sense now than it did when she first used it.
Yeah, I think we bring an entanglement back. It has more context now.
Mm-hmm. It does. And people are not short of opinions. Take a look at this. Not. Take a look at this clip from Stephen A. Smith literally putting all his business out there. And you know what's funny? At one point I said his name and my friends were like, who is Stephen Smith? Stephen A. Smith? I was like, yeah, that guy. That guy right there is who I was talking about. But let's check out the clip. He had a whole lot to say.
The Pinkett Smith, that's fucked up. Let's talk about the role of a wife. At least from the perspective of just sparing him. I'm not getting in the right and wrong. It's none of my business. I don't know about them. I don't want to know. But I know that it is uncomfortable and grotesquely unfair to emasculate your husband publicly. Publicly. He's Will Smith. How much smaller do you want to make him? How much? I mean, damn. Come on, Jada. This is wrong. You can't do this. You can't treat that man like that. It's none of our business. You screwing somebody, that's your business.
You can't handle the truth.
Well, Stephen A. Smith on fire. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I mean, I know a lot of people agree with that sentiment. I do agree with that sentiment, you know, keeping things private, you know, but then there's that whole world of like public relationship versus private relationship, and how is there a way for a public relationship like that with such high profile people? Is there a way for that to really be successful, or does it make it just very difficult to really survive?
I mean, look at Beyonce and Jay-Z. Other than the fight in the elevator, you don't really hear about their personal business like that.
That's true.
So I'm just curious. I'm one of those people. I feel like it's much better to be private. You can put a little bit out there, but you don't need to put all. It's like when Gabrielle Union was talking about how like Dwayne likes his booty ate. Like, you didn't need to tell the rest of the world all that. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Okay. It's too early for that.
You didn't. Oh, you didn't hear about that? That was like all over the headlines for a while.
Okay.
And she talked about it very openly. She wants to please a man. That's what he's into. And so, you know, she was very open about their dynamic. Cool, to each his own. But I'm just saying, like, you don't necessarily have to put all your business out there. To each
his own?
Yeah.
To each his own.
I mean, listen. Different
licks for different strokes.
In this situation, apparently, I didn't know guys were so into that. I asked one of my guy friends because I was so shocked she was talking about that. I'm like, can you believe, guys? He got really quiet. I was like, wait, have you, like, he's like, yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, I don't ask for it, but I had Shorty try it one time, and I ain't gonna lie, I didn't hate it.
I like it.
So
I like it. I mean, you ain't gonna play in it with your fingers or anything, but yeah, it's okay.
so from the gooch to the, okay, got it. So
But you gotta
Yeah,
have good technique when you go to it. You can't just be like, like
yeah.
you gotta have good
There's
technique.
a certain sensitivity you have to have.
And cool.
Tally, I have a question. So what kind of
Yes.
tools do you pull out of your box to show your partner how to properly satisfy your anus?
What kind of tools do I put?
Yeah, because last time you were telling me you don't have enough tools in your bag or the right tools because you can do it on your partner so he can, know how to do it to you. So I'm just curious. You got to do it to the girl. What if she don't want that done? How do you show someone how to properly anus play?
Well,
That's not my forte.
you go get
Can't help
a young 24-year-old, your son's friend, and you bring him to the bedroom. That's what you do.
Okay.
That's what Jada did.
You didn't see the hook there?
No, I'm. Wow. Wait, huh?
Well, 30, whatever he was, 20, doesn't matter. So in this 2016, they've been separated since 2016. So supposedly, Jada wasn't with Will anymore when she was with.
Is this Alcina? Oh.
So
He
they
was
were
real in his
already,
feelings about how that whole situation was handled. So
he was in love, and there was an understanding. Remember, he kept saying there was an understanding. Remember he said Will knew about this. He did, and it's showing now. 2016, she said she wasn't with him, so Will did know. Now, I don't think Will wanted the public to know. I think that brought a lot of shame. So of course you're gonna act like you didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But
Absolutely not.
I do believe that there's an agreement between Will and Jada, and it just doesn't look good publicly on Will right now.
but they've said for years that they're in an open relationship, both of them.
I
Both
think
him
it
and her,
started,
but I think she's been messier than he has.
most definitely. I think it started out open, and then I think Jada just drifted even further away from the openness. I think there was just personally, I think there was an understanding in this openness. And then I think Jada just kept drifting, and Will didn't want to let go. And she was like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I think she was over the marriage. He wanted to keep it, and he was willing to do anything to keep it, but he didn't know it was going to get to this space where he was just going to be laundried out. And it's bad.
In this way, though.
It's bad.
Because the way she's really, one thing I will say, she's done her due diligence on her press run because she is getting around to everybody. So the situation kind of, I don't know, I have a lot of mixed opinions about it, but in addition to that, I don't understand why she keeps talking about Tupac. I will say the internet does remain undefeated because this was hilarious.
One.
Wow.
Internet,
That's a
undefeated.
heads up for you.
It's the eye contact for me.
Yeah. Heads up, Jada. There's a camera.
Listen, I could never be personally in an open relationship. At that point, I feel like, what's the point of even having a title? You can just have an understanding. But why share it so publicly though? Is my thing.
But it wasn't public. It crept out. It fell out the bag. Like it was private.
Yeah. I think at times we forget, us as consumers, we forget that not everything is coming from the people who are actually in it. Because I saw a video with Jada and Fat Joe, and it actually gave me a slightly different perspective on Jada as they were talking, because she says in this video that she never said that her and Tupac were together. She said they never were intimate. She says that she's never said that. And then it makes you think, like, wait, did I see her say that in a video, or did she quote that somewhere, or did the media drop that, and so they beat it into you so much that everybody starts to assume that she said
That's what it is.
that's what it is. And they were marketing the book very well, because she's like, you got to get the book to hear
To
it
find
all.
out.
See, so I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you got to ask yourself, hold on, wait, let me see. Am I looking at this thing from a biased perspective? Did I really hear that and see that from that person's mouth? We got to double check ourselves sometimes when it comes to the media and long running, dramas or whatever that's the series of their relationship is and the development of that.
Well, I got evidence, and I got evidence that they were
Mm-hmm.
and I hear what you're saying, but you have a short-term memory, bro. Like, can we see the picture again? We got proof. And Suge didn't even look, man. Suge was like, yo, I don't know nothing. I don't see nothing. I'm just driving. We got the picture, bro. So no matter what Jada said, we got the proof right there. She's looking.
But you think that's real or photoshopped?
I was going to say, Ben, that's not real, right?
Nah, man, that's real. Bro, I'm a photographer, bro. I know. That's real. Look at her.
Ben, look at her hair.
She been wearing her hair like that for years, bro. That was a wig she was wearing. That's alopecia. Damn, I fell out of character. I guess that's why I'm not an actor. I had you at first though. You was really looking at me like, yo, you really like the bro.
Sips my coffee.
I had you, bro. I Denzel'd you just now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a big statement right there.
What's next?
Tallie said, next. What I would like to know from a male perspective is if you guys were in Will's shoes, one, how would you feel? Two, how would you handle this situation based on how she's moving? Because she did Red Table Talk, and she put a lot of their private business out there as well.
Well, I will let the married man go first.
It's hard to adequately answer that, but I'm gonna do my best to just pick a side. If what's coming out isn't something that he cares to be out and actually focused on keeping private and everything for the reality of saving their relationship, then yeah, that would not be the greatest feeling to feel. Some people feel like she is pushing his limits to get him to divorce, and then they're talking about the prenup, and that she would get half of his I think I don't know if he's worth 200 million or something like that, and she's like 50.
She said they're working things out in an interview she just did like a day or two ago. She said they are actively working hard to fix their marriage. I just have questions. The story's not adding up. Because it's like one thing over here, but then it's another thing over here, but then it's like there's a lot of chaos and tears and emotions, a lot of emotions.
Right. Well, let me finish answering the question. Let me finish answering the question. So that would not feel good if that's what's going on. The other side of me says, this is obviously a press run for Jada Pinkett Smith. She's obviously marketing something, and she's obviously okay with, pressing that line of too hot for TV-ness to get the eyeballs and to get the eardrums about her product. And if Will happens to be on board with that, because sometimes, I feel like a lot of the beef that happens in the industry is staged beef. And sometimes the beef might have been natural, but both parties said, oh, I see the benefit of this, so let's just keep beefing or whatnot, because it plays out a real life drama. I can see a world where he's just like, I don't give a damn. I'm Will Smith. It's whatever. Do what you got to do to get your rocks off, to get the books off. Who knows? You know, that's the flip side of it for me.
Ben, what do you think?
Will looks, first of all, I'm gonna start at the back of the end of your statement. Will looks like a hurt man, and he's been looking hurt for a very long time. That's just observation. I don't
I
know
do
him,
agree.
but he looks hurt. Um, I am not married. I've chose not to be in that space. I think marriage, if it works, it could be beautiful. My personal belief, overall, people get mad at me when I make this statement. Overall, marriage doesn't work. The numbers have been at 50% ever since I was a child, but the numbers, the fake number is 50% of all marriages end in divorce. And we all know many people, most people have been divorced, more than 50%. But the other number is 70% of all people divorce the first time and remarry, divorce again. So second marriage is a higher divorce rate than the first.
Mm.
But I feel like Will signed up for something. It's like a teenage love, and it might be in the clause that you can't divorce me. No matter what, we'll never be divorced. Because they keep saying,
She did
if you
say
notice,
that.
we're never going to get a divorce. Like, and I've seen him say it on interviews. No matter what, we're never going to get divorced. And at the end of the day, I don't know if that's love, and if it is love, I would never want to feel like that. I've been in that space that I could see where Will is, and it as good as it felt, it didn't feel good at times. Excuse me.
Mm.
And it just looks like he's in a lot of pain. I wouldn't want to be signed up for this. No matter what, we're not going to get divorced campaign that he's been on, or this ride, this roller coaster ride. It's not good. It's not good for people. I think monogamy can work for some people, and I think open marriages can work for other people. It just, it's a tight rope, and there has to be respect. I think when people say we're going to have an open marriage, I feel like there is still guidelines. There's still things that you got to live up to. There's things that is disrespectful. I think there's things that you just do. I just think theirs was under wraps, and I said this. I wish I had receipts, but I always thought they had an open marriage. I thought there was other layers to what's come out that I haven't heard, that I thought. That's neither here nor there. But I've never thought that they were totally committed to each other. So when I heard this, I wasn't surprised. You mentioned Jay-Z and Beyonce. I think, Abbie, Jay-Z just not going to allow that. He's not going to allow that relationship. He's not going to allow himself to look like that in public. And I think he fixed whatever part, you know what, that embarrassment. If you notice, Jay-Z, I think he's a very sensitive and very sensitive, and he has a lot of attitude and pride. And that's why he stays out of the public. If you notice, he don't have Instagram. You never see him on stuff. You catch him walking by. He don't want nothing to do with this kind of stuff.
He off the grid.
Way off the grid. So I just think Will signed up for a lifetime situation that just didn't play out the way he thought that it was going to play out.
And that's just sad when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, just in my personal opinion, I love. So it's sad when you see situations like this play out the way that has. But I'm hoping they find some sort of resolve somewhere. I would not want to be in Will's shoes right now, though, because I agree with what you said. Mm-hmm.
I did see a blog that someone had mentioned that it was funny how Will Smith took the transition from just traditional TV and film, or more so film, and started down the social media route. And that was the happiest anybody had seen Will Smith, when he started to do his own thing through social media. And they felt like Jada wasn't on it at first. And then when she inserted herself and started to, get into social media and start her own thing, is when it got really toxic. And when it really started to go south Will. That's what that, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. I don't know. I didn't observe that myself. I don't know what the timelines of her starting her thing versus his, but they were mentioning that even though her like Red Table Talks was posed as a positive show, it was actually very toxic for their relationship, and I guess that's where most of the things about them ended up spilling out into the public.
Well, yeah.
Not in your opinion. The show was toxic. I was watching A View earlier, and they kind of tapped onto this convo that we're having, and one of the ladies said she used to watch Jada Red Table, right?
Red Table Talk, yeah.
Red Table Talk, and she said she had to stop watching it because she realized it just wasn't good for her. It is. It's not cool. It has a direction and positivity, and then it just turns into, gossip and hate. So
I hadn't gotten a chance to watch like full episodes. I've only seen the inserts and the snippets. So those snippets, of course, those snippets look like, oh, okay, that's seems like a pretty good place to put some attention to. So I haven't had a chance to watch an episode myself.
And I don't know if people are aware also, sorry not to cut you off, but Red Table Talk was actually being shot in their home.
Right.
So now imagine you're there, because they talk about a lot of relationship driven topics. Jada's been very open about her situation with Will. So now you're in your own home listening to all this go on. That can't feel good.
One thing about when you're like going through this spiritual evolution and you're trying to become more in touch with your feelings, trying not to be too affected, trying not to take things personally, what you often do is you try to swallow that instinct when you don't really like something, but you're telling yourself, that's just my ego talking. Let me, let me just go through it. I can see that, and I've done it myself. When you're just going through this development and you want to override your instincts and you want to override your emotion, and you can swallow some things for a while until the goal is to get that under control, and then you change your natural pattern. But sometimes you're not there yet, and you're kind of hoping that this thing will not make you feel the way it feels. I can see that being like, where he is, where it's like, I'm supposed to be able to talk about these things. I'm supposed to be able to allow these things to be, said. It shouldn't affect me. But it's like, that's where the work is. That's the real work. And then it really is affecting you. You're just like suffering in silence. You're just not voicing yourself because you're actually trying to become a better person through it by not being reactive. So that's just a tough part of the work, man, when it comes to growing.
Yeah, that's a whole different level, because the way my Hispanic side of the gene pool set up.
They ain't with that, huh, Abbie?
No, that whole, you gonna say this in my house
about in
too?
Spanish?
Yeah.
You get to talking to Espanol.
Let me
Spanish?
tell you, that network would have loved someone like me, because they would have had all sorts of great extra content to feed to the blogs. Oh, she came out and she.
Let me hear you go off. Let me hear you go off in Spanish.
Oh no! If I do that, if I get to that point,
what I gotta do to get you to that point, Abbie? What the I gotta do to get you to that point, Abbie? What the gonna do?
I know how to get her there.
I know how to get it there.
We're going to give a shout out to love, and we're going to wrap this thing up. Communicate with your lover what you want, and communicate back if you don't like it, and come to a resolution, right? But this kind of pain and hurt and beating up and just dragging somebody along, you got to let them go. And as much as you may want to keep Will around, Jada, it's time, man, to just let him go. Let him out of his misery. And if he's suicidal, stay with him through that, but let's stop doing what you're doing. Like, that's not cool. And it's just not a good look for this man, because he's lost a lot of respect from people. And Stephen A just showed right there that he's like, come on, man. Like, honestly, man, if Will Smith committed suicide, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if it's really affecting him, but it looks like it. And it's just not a good look. It's just not publicly to humiliate him as much as he's been humiliated over these last couple of years. So let's give a shout out to love, respect.
Shout out to love.
Love and respect.
And if you're not going to bear back and take care of it, put them skins on.
And on that note, we'll be back next week, folks. You're listening to the Tab Podcast.
We
Tab out.